A billionaire CEO soaked in the storm, invisible in the world he once owned at a janitor, with nothing but a torn umbrella and the last few dollars he was saving for dinner. Point two strangers standing in the rain, one with power, one with heart. But in that single, quiet moment, the man who had everything received the one thing he never expected, kindness, that a kindness so pure, so unexpected, it would rewrite both their destinies forever. Rain hammered the city like it wanted to wash everything clean. Imani Khan, the billionaire CEO whose name alone made boardrooms tremble, stood on the corner, drenched, shivering, and impossibly stranded. Her phone was dead. Her wallet forgotten in the car. Her driver stuck in traffic miles away. For the first time in years, she felt something she didn't recognize at first. Helplessness, and with every passing minute, frustration, panic, and disbelief tightened around her chest. She tried waving down taxis. None stopped. Passers-by kept rushing beside her, umbrellas held tightly above their heads, not even glancing at the soaked woman who once believed she could control everything. That a few steps away, Malik, a quiet maintenance worker finishing his shift, noticed her. His shoes were worn, his uniform slightly faded, and in his pocket lay the last few dollars he'd planned to use for dinner. He hesitated, then stepped closer. "Ma'am, are you okay?" he asked softly. Imani, shivering, forced a strained smile. I'm Fine. I just need a ride home." Malik didn't question her, didn't judge her, didn't recognize her wealth or power. He only saw someone struggling. He gently extended his hand with the crumpled bills. "Here, this should be enough for a bus. It's not much, but it might help." Imani stared at him, stunned. No one helped her, not without something in return. "Why would you do that?" she whispered. "Because you look like you need it," Malik replied. She took the money with trembling hands. "People like me don't get helped," she said, voice cracking as she walked away, humbled and shaken. She never imagined the truth. The man who offered his last dollars worked in her own building, and fate wasn't done with him yet. The next morning, the storm had passed, but inside Imani, something hadn't. She walked into the glass tower of Khan Enterprises, determined to bury yesterday's humiliation under work, numbers, and control. That's what she did best. That's what kept her untouchable. But the moment she stepped into the executive boardroom, her breath caught. Across the room, kneeling beside a wall panel, toolbox open, sleeves rolled up, was Malik, the same man, the man from the rain, the man who had offered her his last few dollars without hesitation. Imani froze mid-step. The board murmured behind her, confused by their CEO's sudden stillness, but she heard nothing. Her heartbeat drowned out the world. Malik looked exactly as he had the night before. Humble, focused, unaware of anyone watching. Except now, he was in her world, her building, her company, at a place where people scheduled meetings just to breathe the same air as her. Yet he worked quietly in the background, the kind of man others barely noticed, except she had noticed. Deeply, he stood up, dusting his hands, and for a single breath she waited, foolishly, for recognition. But he didn't recognize her. An flicker of surprise, awkwardness, memory of the soaked woman in the rain. He simply nodded politely. "Morning, ma'am. Sorry for the noise. I'll be out of your way soon." His voice was the same calm, steady warmth she remembered, and somehow, that made her chest tighten. She forced a composed smile. "Take your time." But all through the meeting, as executives droned on about projections and mergers, her eyes kept drifting back to him. His quiet confidence, his gentle focus, the kindness she had felt lingering in his hands as he gave her those last few crumpled bills. For a billionaire who had everything, it was ridiculous how impossible it felt to focus on anything else. The pull, she couldn't Airbnb afternoon. She found herself wandering the building's maintenance corridors, places she had never stepped before. She justified it to herself. "I'm checking workplace conditions. I'm ensuring staff efficiency. I'm being a responsible CEO." But deep down she knew. She was looking for him. And when she finally found him in a quiet service hallway, testing emergency lights, she felt a warm flutter in her stomach she hadn't felt in years. Malik turned, surprised. "Oh, ma'am. Do you need something?" She opened her mouth, then panicked. Why was she here? What did she possibly say? I was, inspecting. Inspecting. Yes. Lights. Safety. General building things. He raised an eyebrow, amused but respectful. Well, these lights are in good shape. Want to test one? He handed her the small testing device. She took it, their fingers brushing, gentle, accidental, electric. I've never done this before, she admitted. Then I'll make sure you don't break the building. He teased softly. She laughed, a real laugh, surprising both of them. That became the start of something neither could name, yet playful banter over the next days. She found new excuses to run into him. Point one morning. Malik, is there a leak on floor 27? No, ma'am. Okay, just checking. Another afternoon. I heard strange noises from the generator room. That's just the generator. All right. And every time, Malik smiled. Not the polite smile he gave executives, but a small, warm, amused curve of the lips that made her feel strangely normal. Human. Their banter grew effortlessly. You fix everything around here, don't you? She asked one day. I try. Things break. People break too sometimes. And you fix them as well. He looked at her, gentle. I try to. That line stayed with her the entire night. The connection they didn't expect. There was a softness in the moments between them, a quiet magic. Not loud, not obvious, but real. In meetings, she found herself thinking of his kindness in the rain. In elevators, she caught herself smiling while remembering his jokes. In her office, surrounded by glass and wealth, she felt strangely empty until she heard his voice in the hallway. More than attraction, it was curiosity that pulled at a warmth she couldn't name. Why did he help her that night? Why didn't he ask for anything in return? Why didn't he even recognize her? Millions of people knew her face, yet he simply treated her like a human. And that, more than anything, felt like destiny. That destiny's quiet tears on evening. As she headed out, she spotted Malik in the lobby fixing a heater. She hesitated, then walked toward him. Long day, he asked without looking up. You have no idea, she sighed. Well, I know a great way to end one. Oh, she smiled. And what's that? He glanced up, teasing, a spark in his eyes. A warm cup of chai. Works better than therapy. She laughed, feeling something melt inside her. Maybe I'll try that one day. Malik grinned. Whenever you're ready. And for the first time in years, Imani felt something unfamiliar, but wonderful. Hope. Warm, slow-burning, undeniable hope. Two worlds had collided again. Not by accident, but by destiny, and something beautiful had begun. The building buzzed with its usual morning rush, executives in tailored suits, assistants clutching tablets, interns running after elevators. But today, something felt different, heavier, charged. Malik walked through the maintenance wing, toolbox in hand, humming quietly the way he always did before starting a long shift. He didn't expect his entire world to collapse before lunchtime. The moment everything was replacing a ceiling filter in the executive lounge when he heard voices drifting from inside. Two senior managers laughed over their expensive coffees. Did you see the CEO today? Imani Khan is on fire. Brilliant presentation this morning. She's unbelievable. Youngest billionaire CEO in the region. If you get 5 minutes with her, your career is made. You know she's the richest person in this building, right? No one even comes close. They kept talking, but Malik stopped hearing because one word hit him like lightning. Imani T froze on the ladder. A cold, sharp realization began to spread through his body. Imani was the CEO, the woman he gave money to in the rain, the woman who walked maintenance corridors for inspections that never made sense, the woman who held a flashlight wrong and laughed at herself, the woman who asked him about his day, who listened, who smiled like she meant it. His stomach twisted painfully. He climbed down slowly, the room spinning. The executives walked past him, barely even noticing the maintenance worker in their way. But he had already stopped seeing the hallway. That he only saw her, standing in the rain, accepting his help, never once saying who she was. That he thought surfaced. Ugly. Sharp. Was she pretending to be normal with me? The kindness in the storm, the playful banter, the quiet connection. Had any of it been real? Or had he just been a momentary break from her billionaire life? The idea crushed him. The distant infant. Imani saw him later that morning. She smiled instinctively. Warm, relieved, excited. Malik, I was hoping I'd run into you. I wanted to, but before she could finish, he turned away sharply. Sorry, ma'am. Busy. Ma'am. Not Imani. Not the soft tone he always used, just formal. Cold. Professional. She blinked, stunned. Oh, okay. Is everything all right? Everything's fine. Just have work. And he walked away without another word. Imani stood there, confused and uneasy, a feeling she wasn't used to. She had dealt with hostile investors, ruthless competitors, and collapsing deals, but nothing hurt quite like Malik silenced her efforts. His double-illness over the next days, she tried everything, passing by the maintenance floor just to check lights, asking his supervisor if he was assigned somewhere else, leaving him coffee with a small sticky note. Hope your day gets easier. But Malik avoided her with clinical precision that if she entered a hallway, he exited if she approached. He found an excuse to leave if she said hello. He pretended he didn't hear. She felt it. The wall? Thick, cold, suddenly there. And she had no idea why. And finally, after 3 days of distance she couldn't understand, she cornered him in the service staircase. Malik, she said softly, breathing hard from chasing him down 2 floors. Please talk to me. He stiffened. Didn't look at her. There's nothing to talk about, ma'am. Can you please stop calling me that? He hesitated, but didn't soften. You're my boss. That's what I'm supposed to call you. That hit her like a slap. She took a step closer, pain in her voice. I thought we were more than that. His jaw clenched. She noticed his eyes were red, like he hadn't slept. That was my mistake. Her chest tightened. What mistake? She whispered. Malik finally turned to face her, and she wished he hadn't, because his eyes weren't angry. They were hurt, deeply, quietly, painfully hurt. I heard people talking today, he said. About the CEO. About you. Her heart dropped. He continued, voice strained. All this time, you never told me who you are. I wasn't hiding. You think I wouldn't find out? You're the billionaire CEO. The kind of person who signs my paycheck without even knowing my name. I do know your name, she whispered. He ignored it. You walked around pretending to be normal, pretending to joke with me, pretending to care about things someone like you never cares about. Her breath shook. Is that what you think I was doing? What else am I supposed to think? Silence hung between them, heavy, suffocating. You could have told me the truth, he said softly, broken. Instead, I found out from strangers laughing over lattes. She stepped closer, eyes shining. Malik, I wasn't pretending. I swear I wasn't. I like being around you. With you, I didn't have to be the CEO. I could just be me. But his hurt had already built walls. High ones. We're from different worlds, Imani, he said, the words low and final. I fix broken wires. You run an empire. People like you don't end up with people like me. Not in real life. The words stabbed deeper than he realized. She felt her throat tighten. For the first time in her adult life, she didn't have anything to say, no argument, no strategy, no strength. Only heartbreak. Okay, she whispered, voice small, defeated. If that's what you believe, then I won't force you to stay in my life. Her eyes glistened, but she didn't let the tears fall. She turned, head held high, the only dignity she had left, and walked away. She didn't look back, but Malik did. And for the first time, he saw what his words had truly done. She had saved companies from collapse. She had faced billionaires who wanted to destroy her. She had walked through storms without flinching. But walking away from him, that broke her. And it was the first time in her life she gave up. The days after their painful conversation felt like walking through fog. For Malik, nothing tasted right, nothing felt right, nothing worked the way it used to. He moved through the maintenance floors like a ghost, the toolbox heavier in his hands, his breath tighter in his chest. Because the truth was simple and cruel. He missed her terribly, constantly, in every hallway, in every moment of quiet, in every echo of her laughter that still lived in the back of his mind. But what hurt even more was the realization that wouldn't stop clawing at him. He was the one who broke everything. Not her, the regret of one afternoon, while fixing a fuse panel, Malik. Overheard two cleaning staff talking. You know the CEO hasn't smiled in days? Really? Yeah. She walks like someone ripped out her heart. Poor woman. That's what stress does to you. Malik froze mid-screw. The words sliced deeper than they should have. She hasn't smiled. Because of me, he leaned against the wall, chest tightening as memories rushed in. Her laughter in the service hallway, her nervous stammer when she tried holding a toolkit, her soft eyes when she told him he made her feel like herself. He had broken that woman. Not because she lied, she didn't, but because he didn't believe her. Because he assumed the worst. Because he let his insecurities speak for him. His voice, in that moment of confrontation, echoed painfully in his mind. We're from different worlds, Imani. Now the sentence sounded like a coward's escape. Like a wound he inflicted to protect himself from a future he thought he didn't deserve. He closed his eyes, regret crashing into him with full force. She wasn't pretending, he whispered to himself. She was trying, and he had punished her for it. The jealousy that shattered an evening. While delivering a repaired tablet to a manager on the executive floor, Malik saw something that stopped his breath. Through the glass wall of the CEO's office, Imani was speaking to a tall, well-dressed man. Sharp suit, expensive watch, confident posture. Everything Malik was not. The man leaned closer, smiling. She didn't smile back, but she didn't pull away either. She looked tired, lonely, vulnerable. Something twisted violently in Malik's gut. Jealousy, followed by fear, followed by the sudden, terrifying image of losing her. Not because she chose someone else, but because he pushed her straight into someone else's life. His pulse raced, her soft voice drifted through the doorway. Thank you for the offer, but I'm not sure I'm ready. Even that hurt to hear, because he wasn't sure how long she'd stay unready. As the man left, Malik found himself hiding behind a pillar like some guilty teenager. He hated himself in that moment. For being insecure, for being scared, for hurting her, for wanting her back, yet doing nothing. He pressed his hands to his face. This is my fault, he whispered. All of it. The push that changed the company's annual gala was the next night. A star-studded, glamorous event where executives mingled with investors under crystal chandeliers. Malik wasn't invited. Maintenance staff never were. But something inside him snapped that morning. A mix of regret, longing, and sudden clarity. He needed to tell her the truth, that he needed to tell her everything. Not privately, not quietly, not with excuses, but in front of everyone he had once feared. Because she deserved someone brave enough to stand beside her, not hide behind status. He didn't have a suit, he didn't have an invitation. But he had a heart burning with apology and determination. Yes, he showed up, nervous, sweating, wearing his cleanest uniform because it was the only thing he owned that didn't feel like a lie. Security tried to stop him. I need to speak with the CEO, he said breathlessly. Please, just give me 1 minute. Maybe it was the desperation in his voice or the sincerity in his eyes, but they eventually let him in. The public ballroom shimmered with chandeliers and soft music. Executives in black suits, women in glittering gowns, cameras, journalists, investors, and in the center, radiating quiet power even through exhaustion, stood Imani. She turned and froze. Malik stood at the entrance, trembling, drenched in fear and courage at the same time. The room fell silent. Executives stared, board members frowned. Whispers filled the air, but Malik didn't care. He only saw her. He walked forward, every step heavy with guilt, every breath shaking. Imani, he said, voice cracking through the silence. She swallowed hard. Malik, what are you doing here? People around them watched with wide eyes. A maintenance worker approaching the billionaire CEO at a formal gala. And one understood. Accept them. Malik took a breath, the deepest of his life. I'm here because I owe you the one thing I should have given you from the beginning. She blinked, confused. Honesty, he said, and the truth. Everyone went silent. I pushed you away because I was scared, he continued. Not of you, but of not being enough for you. The room murmured. I told you we're from different worlds, he said, louder now. But that wasn't your fault. That was my insecurity, my pride. I judged you unfairly. I hurt you because I didn't believe I deserved someone like you. Her eyes softened, just barely. Malik's voice shook. The only thing I care about is you. Gasps. Whispers. Stunned faces. But Amani, she only stared at him. Heart pounding, breath uneven. Malik stepped closer, holding back tears. I'm not asking you to forgive me now. I'm asking you to let me try. Let me grow. Let me become a man who won't run from love because he's scared. Silence. Heavy. Electric. He braced himself for rejection. But she didn't reject him. Instead, she spoke softly, voice steady, but eyes glistening. Malik, I never needed you to be perfect. I needed you to be honest. He exhaled, trembling, but she continued gently. If you want us, you have to prove you're ready. Not just for me, for yourself. His chest tightened. I will, he whispered. I swear I will. I'll do whatever it takes to grow, to heal, to deserve the kind of love you offer. Her gaze held his, warm, cautious, hopeful. Then show me, she said. Don't just say it. Show me. He nodded, firm, emotional, determined. I will. From today, I start becoming the man who never walks away from you again. She didn't smile, but she didn't walk away either. And that was enough, because for the first time since breaking her heart, Malik felt hope. Real, steady, life-changing hope. His transformation had begun. The days after the gala felt different for Malik, lighter, clearer, sharper. For the first time in his life, he wasn't working just to survive. He was working to become something. Someone worthy of the love he almost destroyed. He didn't want Amani's money. He didn't want her connections. He didn't want shortcuts. He wanted to grow by his own hands. The rise of Malik threw himself into learning. Every night after his shift, he sat on a rooftop with borrowed books, cheap notebooks, and YouTube tutorials playing on his cracked phone. He studied electrical systems, small business management, customer service, budgeting, everything he could find. Failure didn't scare him anymore. Losing her had already taught him the worst pain. Soon, he started taking small repair jobs on weekends. Point one AC unit, point one broken elevator panel, point one short-circuited apartment. Word spread. People trusted him, not just because he was skilled, but because he cared. Within months, he registered his own tiny business, Malik Maintenance and Solutions. It wasn't much at first. Point one toolbox, point one ladder, point one man. But it was his, built from sweat, humility, and a promise made in front of a ballroom full of people, the symbol of everything. A year later, Malik stood in a small office he could finally call his own, clean, warm, sunlit. A simple desk, a wall of certificates he had earned, a growing list of clients. But the most important thing on his desk wasn't paperwork. It was a single and used bus ticket. The same route, the same stop, the same moment where their lives had first collided. He stared at it for a long time. This wasn't a grand gesture. It wasn't luxury. It wasn't wealth. It was symbolic. Pure. Their beginning, he slipped it into an envelope with a note. Meet me where our story started. And he had it delivered to her office. Amani saw the ticket. Her breath caught. Point 1 year. 1 whole year of distance, growth, rebuilding. She had watched from afar as Malik transformed, not for her, but for himself. And now this ticket, the very thing she had needed that rainy night, the very moment that had changed both their lives. That a laugh escaped her, breathless, stunned, emotional. She didn't wait, didn't think, didn't call her driver. She grabbed her coat and ran, down the stairs, out, the lobby, into the street, running like a woman chasing something she had been waiting for her whole life. The full circle of the rain had stopped, but the pavement still glistened when she reached the bus stop. And there he was, Malik, standing exactly where he had stood the first night. Not drenched, not broken, but confident, standing tall, looking like a man who had rebuilt himself piece by piece. When she saw him, she froze, breath ripped from her lungs. He smiled softly, nervously. You came. She stepped closer, tears gathering. Of course I came. For a moment, they just stared, two hearts remembering everything they had been through. The storm, the misunderstanding, the heartbreak, the transformation. Then she whispered, voice trembling, you kept your promise. He reached for her hand, and for the first time, she didn't pull away. I told you, he said, eyes warm and full. I'd become the man who never walks away from you again. Something inside her cracked open. Relief, love, forgiveness all pouring through at once. She moved into him, arms wrapping around his neck, and he pulled her into a deep, emotional embrace, and oh more walls, and oh more worlds apart. Just two souls meeting in the exact place fate had chosen for them. Their lips met soft, trembling, full of everything they'd held back for too long, a kiss that felt like closure. And beginning that AS, they held each other under the soft glow of the bus stop lights. Malik whispered, "True love isn't about status. It's about who you're willing to become." And for the first time in their lives, they were equals, not by money, not by power, but by heart.